Yo, what is good, Vibers? It is Wednesday, December 18th. This morning, Theorycraft and executive producer Jess Nam posted their fireside chat, giving us some insight into a bunch of really cool changes coming that none of us have really heard about before. And we're going to have a big patch hit today with a bunch of changes, and I will make a patch notes video where I'm going to go through all that stuff in detail like normal. But for this video, I basically wanted to call out what I think are like some of the biggest overarching changes that are really exciting for like gameplay and for new players and veteran players alike. The biggest change that's happening with the patch today that I really wanted to make sure everyone was aware of so they could get a chance to get in here and test it if they were so inclined is this Resurgence early game they're adding. And so in a nutshell, what their data is telling them is that the new player experience is like that ramp up curve is pretty steep to where a lot of new players just aren't sticking around long enough and they're maybe not getting enough combat reps to really like realize the fun and the magic of the game before they just kind of get like owned after farming some creeps. And maybe that happens a couple times and then they just log out and never log back in again. And so the real intent of this change is to really spice up the early game and encourage like combat and action and have that combat be like more forgiving, like less punishing, encouraging more players, including newer players, to fight early and often, which is really like the heart of SUPERVIVE anyways, right? And the way they're doing that is basically by implementing this like infinite revival system in day one. So the way it's going to work for day one and night one, you will respawn in the air above a living ally after a short delay. You can actually choose which ally you're going to respawn over by the one you're spectating. So depending on where you want to spawn in, you can hit N. I think the letter N on your keyboard is the default key to change your who you're spectating. So you can rotate between your teammates to choose where you're spawning in. Respawn timer increases per respawn individually. So every time you die, your respawn timer is going to go up, but it's independent from like anyone else on your team. At the end of the first night, any player waiting to respawn will automatically respawn. So when the resurgence ends, so basically the resurgence lasts day one and night one, at the very end of night one, when resurgence ends and we sort of enter into like normal game mode again, as long as your team has at least one player alive, everyone else on your team is going to get respawned going into day two, regardless of like timers or anything like that. So when this rule set is active, regular respawn beacons begin ruined because you're just getting like automatic respawns on top of your teammates and will become regular beacons again when the respawns end right at the start of day two. So just think about it like day one is resurgence. Day one, night one is time to fight because we have really forgiving resurrection rules where even if someone goes down, as long as one teammate survives, your whole teammate can automatically come back in and keep fighting. And another way they're going to try to incentivize this like early brawling to have everyone be getting like much more combat reps in early and have that combat be like, more fun and potentially more forgiving is with this ascending armor. So introducing ascending armor. This is an explicit always on reward for those who choose violence during day one and night one of the resurgence. Dealing damage to enemy hunters will always progress your current armor toward upgrading to the next tier. And this basically means by dealing damage to enemy players, you can earn yourself armor upgrades, like go from white to green to blue to gold to a new type of armor, red. So they give a list of actions that improve your armor, which are dealing damage to enemy hunters, knocking enemy hunters, or assisting knocks on enemy hunters. So basically, any type of damage, knock, or assist against a hunter is going to count towards these thresholds, and the requirements for these thresholds are going to ramp based on the tier of armor. So imagine you're able to do at least 2,000 points of damage in day one. Then your armor is going to automatically upgrade to green as soon as you hit that threshold of damage. If you're able to deal 5,000 damage during Resurgence, you're going to upgrade to blue. If you're able to deal 15,000 damage during day one and night, which is a lot of brawling, you're going to be able to hit gold. And if you deal 20,000 or more, you are going to be at the highest tier of armor possible, red, which is brand new and I haven't even seen yet. Keep in mind, you're not going to gain any like durability when you level your armor up. So if you have like half of your green and you hit 5,000 and it upgrades to blue, you're going to have like half of your blue, right? Now, keep in mind, guys, this is like Theorycraft's thing. This is like what they've been doing with everyone in the private playtest, like before they opened it up to open beta, but they just need like a larger audience to test stuff with now. And they're doing that exact thing with this revival resurgence rule set. And it's only going to be implemented for now from today, the 18th, as soon as this patch goes through, up until Friday, the 20th. And so if you've enjoyed SUPERVIVE at all and have any time in the next couple days, I highly encourage you to like get in here, try out this like new spicy day one combat, trying to encourage like a bunch more violence day one. See how these new revival rules feel. Maybe try to pull in some friends that haven't played before to see how it feels for like the brand new player experience, and then give your feedback to Theorycraft. Any sort of feedback or like initial feelings or just your opinion on how this feels after even trying it for just a couple times. That's exactly what Theorycraft is looking for to try to, you know, improve the game as a whole. And the way they're doing it is by live testing stuff like this. So a big part of this video is just making sure everyone's aware that that is existing from the 18th to the 20th, just these next couple days. So we want to do our best to like get in there, try it out, and give our feedback and see if this is really like a game changer that will evolve the early game and experience of SUPERVIVE, or if it's just, you know, another little test where we might learn something and make smaller changes. So that's kind of an overview of the new Resurgence rule set that's going to be tested over the next couple of days. The other really big change I want to call out in this video that's more future looking is Theorycraft's announcement of a very aggressive new hunter schedule, which is super exciting for players looking for new content, where they're planning to release a new hunter every single month in 2025, starting with the first reveal of Beebo, an interdimensional traveler that apparently has a pretty wild and diverse kit that's going to be significantly different than anyone else on the roster so far. And along with Beebo, we are getting Beebo's Warped Tour, which is like going to be, I guess, the event that happens in January, like when he gets released. And it actually sounds really cool. There's like some new interdimensional powers getting added for like more like big brain, like creative plays. There's like little interdimensional like anomalies on the map you can use to like blink or like trade locations and stuff like that. And on the same line of like timelines getting mixed, there's going to be new equipment evolutions that are like RNG combos of existing evolutions. So you could maybe get like a tech blade that has some mana blade stuff on it, or a mana helm that has omnivamp, you know, things like this. So then after Beebo, we have this like mech DJ chick named Krista, who looks like she's going to be, they call her a burst mage. It looks like she's going to be doing it with this like nuclear sound setup. So like really excited to see what her kit's going to look like. And then after Krista, they hint at a third hunter, a mid-range solar powered rifler with a wild repositioning ability. I think I actually know the base test character this came from a clip I saw like a year and a half ago. But I think this hunter is going to be really, really cool. And like probably the one I'm most excited for. And then we have a little teaser at like the fourth hunter lined up for 2025. So if everything goes to plan, like should release around April. And this is a diabolical new support. Looks like, you know, Cruella DeVille vampire support, maybe some like leech, maybe more of like an offensive support that's leaning more into like damaging and then using like leech from their damage to heal allies. Something like that could be really cool. The other big thing that's like time sensitive is they added Hunter Mastery, and they added some like exclusive rewards over the holidays where if you're unlocking like multiple Hunter Mastery levels, you can unlock exclusive time limited rewards that are only going to be here until the 8th. And so if you're doing some holiday SUPERVIVE grinding, learning all the hunters like I am, that's like a perfect way to just like stack some cool titles, rewards, cosmetics that are only going to be available until the 8th. And then we also have the double referral friends points happening. And again, I mentioned this in the last video, but you can actually re-invite the same friends and double dip on the points you already got from them. So like re-invite the friends you already had, play with them again. You're going to like double down on all your points, invite new friends, play with them. You're going to get, you get 10 for the invite now, 10 for them playing a game, and 10 for playing with them. So if you invite a friend, play a game with them, that's 30 points, easy GG. And then finally, everything that's available to purchase in the game right now should be available in the shop as soon as this patch hits on the 18th up until the 8th. Like they're just going to, instead of having a store rotation, they're just basically going to put anything that's available in there. So anyone that's looking to like get a skin for their new favorite hunter doesn't have to like wait for a new store rotation. And they did say they are adding skins for every single hunter. They don't want you to have to wait to buy a skin for your favorite hunter. They want to have that stuff available. So they are working on that as well. And I'm going to post a full patch notes review video where I go through like all the details of the changes and everything that's happening with this specific patch today on the 18th. But I just basically wanted to make everyone kind of aware of this immediate change that's getting tested, but also like the longer term plan, especially around releasing new hunters, where there's actually going to be a new hunter possibly every month. At least that's what Theorycraft is shooting for coming in 2025. And it looks like this cast that's coming in the first couple months is going to be really dope. And it looks like they're going to be doing like events on the map that are related to those new hunters. So we talked about like Beebo's warped tour. There's going to be some like interdimensional powers added, some interdimensional like rifts on the map and stuff like that. They're also adding brand new combat zones to the map. They're like adding a whole patch of land to the right of stacks. They're like building out Scavenger Bay into 3 distinct zones. So some really cool like updates to the map and the maybe parts of the map that felt a little empty or barren. In January, there's also rank changes happening. There's going to be a whole new passive balance changes and a bunch of good stuff. So the patch hitting today is basically our Christmas patch. All the devs are going to finally get some sleep and spend some time with friends and family after they've just been like going nonstop for the last like 3 years. But they got some really exciting stuff cooking for 2025. And I just basically wanted to share kind of the highlights of that with you here. And be sure to check back later today if you're looking for a more in-depth video on the patch notes and what's changed and what's happening right now. But I hope that was useful for you. Remember to take care of yourself and keep vibing. Catch you next one. Peace.